I wanted to make some comments on this video, so let's go ahead and get into it. Big shout out to Duty for the upload. Appreciate you.
Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. That money. All right. Now, I just want to talk briefly, and I promise you I'm not going to go on about this endlessly, but I want to give everyone an update on what's really going on right now between me and all my YouTube channels and everything, performance-wise, because, yeah, right now things aren't great, and, there's a multiple combination of factors going on. First of all, we're in January, all right? January traditionally is the worst month of the year on YouTube for anything. Why? Because the holidays are over, so that everyone gets extra views and stuff around then. That's over with. And all the ad revenue's gone. Like, no exaggeration, you go from insanely high ad revenue to like nearly nothing.
Excuse me, but when the fuck have we ever heard him talk about insanely high ad revenue? Has that ever even been said before? I want you to go to the stream and suggest to him that he has insanely high ad revenue in the holidays and see how long it takes for him to tell you that no, that's full of shit. I need tips. I need cheers. I need subs. It's all bullshit.
Right? So what ends up happening for someone like me who's consistent, I'm not one of the people who I put all my best content in the last 3 months of the year and pump out 5 times more videos to make extra money. I consistently put out content all year long because I treat it like a real job, and I want you guys to have good content all year long, not only inflated and boosted so I can get extra dough for it. You know what I'm saying?
When I heard him say this, it basically was one of the reasons I felt like I had to make a video, that I had to say something. Because when I hear him speaking this bullshit, it just drives me absolutely crazy. He talks about YouTube as though he is selectively choosing not to take advantage of all these opportunities. I want you to think about the big content creators on YouTube for a minute. How many of them just coast through on their channel and aren't consistently uploading and catering to their audience daily to maintain that momentum? YouTube is so fragile, but this man acts like he's simply choosing not to take advantage of these things. It is insane.
A lot of YouTubers do that. I don't. So what ends up happening is a month like January, for me, it's business as usual. I'm putting out content, I'm having fun, and in general, you guys have been equally as supportive this month as you always are. Tip level is great. People are supporting the Baldur's Gate 3 streams, and in general, overall, all that's great. Super chats, no real complaints. They're not down or anything this month. Things are going good. But what's ended up happening this month, it's a combination of factors. Number one, I'm always down in January because of the ad revenue. So that little bit of ad revenue that I do get, not to say that it's like insane amounts of money, but still, I usually have it, and this month I don't have it. Now, normally it'd be like, okay, so it's kind of tight in January, that's okay. The problem now is this memberships thing, okay? So to give you guys some perspective, I'm literally going to pull up stats for you right now to let you know what I'm talking about because I want people to understand what I mean when I talk about this stuff.
Oh, when it comes to memberships, I got some real shit to say about this stuff here, and I'll wait and let Phil get into it, but I feel like memberships have been abused in his community has been taken advantage of, and I'll get into all that.
Okay? So to give you some perspective, all right? This month, the month of January, all right? We have received, just listen to this, 1,300 new memberships on top of the existing memberships that we had.
Oh, fuck you, Phil. We're not even starting with the right statistics here. What we need to ask ourselves is, what are the recurring members on this channel that are not gifted? How many standard level members, either of tier 1, 2, and 3, are subscribed and automatically renewing? We need to take away all this bullshit from gifted members and viewer bombs and shit like this. That's where we need to start.
All right? So in total, right now, this channel currently has 1,655 memberships.
And this is literally your own fucking fault for incentivizing and pushing members so hard on your small viewer base. You have no right to complain about this. You've told every time the members hit a goal, you move the goal up. Your viewership isn't increasing, but the goal is increasing.
Yeah. But if you actually do the math on how many of those are legit and I'm actually getting paid for, all right, it's only around 500.
And he lies just so comfortably. That is not true. He is getting paid for those memberships. It's simply not at the rate of pay that he's stating it should be. But he can't even be that honest. If he was not getting paid for those memberships, the members who receive them and use them and are enjoying them would not be able to have those benefits. How are they supposed to feel now that he's saying that he hasn't even been paid for it?
Now, last month, I had over 800, and those were all legit.
I'm sorry. Do you regularly have 800 viewers? And I know the story. I know the bullshit. I know he says there's separate audiences coming in for each game and all of these things, but none of that actually totals up to the numbers that you're saying. And for you to have a viewership of, let's be generous and say most days 400 viewers, for you to put this type of pressure on your audience and expect them to carry gifted memberships month by month that is 3, 4, 500 higher than your average viewership is incredibly, incredibly ignorant.
All right. So the funny part about this whole thing is, on paper, it looks like I'm doing so much better, and in reality, I'm doing way worse. In fact, looking at the statistics here, I'm staring at it. It says revenue that you made on memberships now versus last month. Okay. No exaggeration. It claims that I have lost money.
I think for me the issue that I have with this right here is you're you don't have a problem with grossly inflated numbers on your channel. If your members are basically being botted up by hundreds and hundreds, what is the difference between that and a view botting? You talk about having a curated content for a select audience. Shouldn't those members be curated in the same way? Why are we doing member bombs and spamming this shit out there to whatever sticks? I thought you were a curated specialist, Phil.
Last month, I had a certain amount, and it says here about 37% decrease in the money that I would make on memberships, right? Now, why have I lost 37% of my revenue on memberships? Because of the trolls. And this is bullshit. They shouldn't have that kind of power on the channel, and they just do.
It has nothing to do with the trolls. You made a poor business decision around exploiting your audience with members. That is what this is, and that is what you need to answer for. Your audience never should have had to continue to achieve member goals that were just going to keep going up with no real tangible benefit to them. None at all.
And there's nothing that I can do to fix that. Okay? Um, I went from a situation where this channel was strong and doing really well in December, and people were not only becoming members but gifting memberships to the community, and there was this feeling of awesome support all around for the holidays.
Oh, Phil, I think this is something that I really appreciate you saying because I want you to keep in mind all of those things are still happening in this current situation. More memberships are going out, more happiness is being sent to the community. He keeps talking about the community. Well, they should be even happier now because memberships are available, they can take advantage of the emotes, but you notice how he's trying to frame this as a very negative thing even though it's not for his viewers.
Right? And then in the last week and a half, 2 weeks that these fake memberships have been given out, all that's gone away because no one's going to become a member if they're getting a gifted membership, and no one's going to renew their membership if they're getting a gifted membership.
I want you to keep in mind that if there was not this currency issue, imagine him saying that right now. That no one would continue to give memberships or subscribe for memberships, it's like they still would. They still would. He's just not happy the way they are. He's still trying to act like these memberships are not counting, but they are.
right? So basically, what's happened is literally only a very small handful of people are becoming members now.
Yes, Phil, you are so close to the realization that you do not have the viewer base that you pretend to. If you had 800, 1,000, 1,500 viewers, they would be there to claim these memberships, even if they're not on each stream. They would pick up these memberships. You don't have those numbers. So you never should have been forcing your audience to support those numbers. Memberships is a huge scam. And I am so glad that this is starting to go away.
So, and this is just now. We still have over a week left in the month, right? So, if within 2 weeks I'm down 37% revenue, can you imagine in another week? I might be down 50, 60% revenue for memberships this month.
I want you to keep in mind in the future when he talks about other content creators and how they exploit their audience and they're just clickbaity and all these things. He is clickbaiting right here. He is suggesting that, oh, it could be even 60, 70, 80%. He clickbaits his audience constantly.
And memberships are a good chunk of the revenue I make on DSP Gaming. Okay? That's awful.
It never should have been the case. I don't think your channel ever should have been given gifted memberships. And you only should have memberships that come from your organic audience. That should be what you want. Why do you want falsely inflated numbers on your channel? If you're a curated content creator for a very specific group, let that group be reflected with pride. You don't go and take this group of, say, 250 to 300, let's call them very unique individuals, and then say, oh, well, no, we actually have 1,000 people. That's not your curated small audience, Phil.
And that's, again, that's not, oh, the ad revenue's down and that's going to come back. That's trolls have broken YouTube. And I can't fix that. Okay? So basically what I'd like to say here is thank you guys because everything else you've been doing, super chats, tips, engaging in the streams, everything has been great. But this memberships thing potentially is going to hurt me bad. Now, at the same time that's going on, keep in mind I have to now change all the memberships on DSP Reacts.
And I can say that I truly, truly do not understand DSP Reacts. I don't think he has opinions that are strong enough to carry and actually respond to videos. He isn't educated enough on concepts, and he isn't interested in enough in anything outside of very narrow topics. So I don't know what he could react to that he would ever have a like an interesting response.
Right? So now what happens if I do that and half the people don't become members over there? So now not only am I down 37% revenue on this channel, now I lose the revenue on that channel too. Now what am I going to do? That's the situation I'm in right now. So I don't feel good. I feel very nervous and I feel shitty. And it's, again, not something that I can fix. This is a problem that YouTube has and trolls have exploited.
Again, nothing has been exploited. You're simply receiving gifted memberships as you always have, and you do not have the audience that can support them and accept them. The big point here is even if he's getting all these fake gifted members, if he has an audience the size that he says he does, they should still be there to accept the fake memberships and the real ones. A content creator that has a supportive audience like he claims to would not be having this problem because they would be able to accept all of those members.
So what can you do? All I can say is check out the content and please support it. You know, one thing you could say as well, there are new games coming out Friday. You're right. I have to buy them, so that's even more money invested.
This kind of triggers me when he talks about buying video games as though it's an investment. It's not an investment. That's a cost of running business. You're a 15-year content creator. You should have the game purchases planned out because without the game, you don't have a business. So an investment would be a green screen. It would be uh, components for your upgrading a computer, getting a gaming PC. That's what I would call an investment. Buying a retail price video game for you your alternative is simply what, not streaming or not playing a game that you think your audience wants to see. It's just insane that he acts as though simply having to purchase the video game because he's a video game streamer, he calls that an investment.
Right? But hopefully, people will come out and support the new games. I really hope they will. I hope you guys will show up for those playthroughs and support those streams, right? If you do, then maybe this isn't a problem.
Ew, what the fuck are you saying? What do you mean? Maybe it won't be a problem. I just, it's gonna be your audience's problem. Again, this man claims not to clickbait, but yet here we are. Panic is already setting in.
If the last week of the month ends up actually being a really great one and everyone's supportive and the streams do well, then it's not a big deal, right? But that's kind of a big if Hail Mary hoping, right?
This is just the current catastrophe at the moment to exploit his audience. He will say later that none of this was a big deal, but yet here he is, big Hail Mary. Oh my God. Like he is acting, the words he is using is acting like we are in, serious problems. But I can tell you that's not the state of things for this. It's not.
As opposed to something more consistent. Like I'm nervous right now. I'm looking at what it says DSP Gaming made last month versus this month. It's down an insane amount. Like I said, about 37% decrease in revenue on the channel. That's terrible, Imagine doing the same work you did last month and everyone's telling you everything you're doing is great.
I don't want to hear everyone feel give names. I want to know who are these people that are saying you're doing great. Because Mike Klum needs to get back on track and talk to those people. Because that's not the feedback that you receive in your chat.
And then you get paid, and you get paid only 60% of the money you made last month. Your paycheck's way less. What happened? Oh, well, some trolls fucked with us, so we can't pay you this month. What?
I just thought this part here was particularly funny because he's a 15-year content creator, and here he is going, what? What happened? What? My revenue changed? Phil, you are on level 1 in so many ways because you are still blindsided by changes. You work in a job that does change drastically because it's based on contributions from an audience. They may not have the same amount of money one month that they have the next month. You should be able to understand that. You're not employed, you're not filling out a W-2, you're not clocking in and out. The way you try to frame your job is so exploitative of your audience.
That's my life right now. It's like, how is that fair? So, what can be done? Well, nothing that I can do.
Nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do to fix the situation. If you like my content, please support it in some way. All right? Legitimately. Legitimately become a member. Legitimately give some memberships to someone.
Legitimately gift a membership to someone. Still here, acting as though none of those people who actually received those great, affordable gifted memberships got to accept and enjoy them. He is acting as though those memberships are fraud on YouTube, and that he's not receiving money from those, but he is.
To help the community. But do super chats, super thanks. If you watch this podcast on demand every day, and I know many and many of you do a super thanks. I almost never get any super thanks on my video.
It's the worst possible way to give you money. It legitimately is. I can't imagine. For one thing, your comment section is so heavily moderated that no one can actually engage and have conversations with each other. So what is the point of doing a super thanks? Because even if it's a really great comment that starts a conversation, the people who reply under it all have to be approved by you. So if you decide you're too lazy or you don't want to engage, then it's simply not worth it. What are the odds that people are even going to go into your comments knowing how heavily regulated they are to look for a super thanks or whatever this shit is? It's just completely worthless.
Like, it's insanely rare. I'll get 1 or 2 a month tops across all 3 of my channels. So if you're someone who watches all the content on demand, if you're a longtime viewer, please consider now helping to support, because I really need the help right now. I'm down a third because of this trolling bullshit. Okay? But outside of that, that's about it. That's all I can say. Support the streams, and if you're an on-demand viewer, please consider a super thanks or a tip. You'll see in the description of every video I upload the tips link. You could still tip whether you're on a stream or not.
I just hate how he tries to grift money. This isn't even a grift against live, like, his YouTube audience. This is just like for for anyone at all. It's just the craziest sort of thing. It's like a live stream is supposed to be your chance to interact with the streamer and enjoy the content. He's saying the tips are something you give to interact and engage in that experience, generally speaking, but now he's saying just fucking send me the money anyway. It's like, how can you even say that with a straight face to your audience? You're supposed to be putting out content that they want to pay for in the moment. They're not supposed to be paying you when they're not even there.
You know, I don't have to be live for you to tip or anything like that. That would help a ton. Okay? So thank you. And I don't like bringing this shit up, but I have to. This is my livelihood. What can I do to fix it? Nothing. I didn't create the situation because I don't work at YouTube, right? I can't fix the situation because I don't work at YouTube. And I'm not a piece of shit troll who thinks it's funny.
I think that I did think it was funny at first, but now I think it's actually a benefit to your audience, because if this can do something to stop you from like forcing and pressuring them to come up with hundreds of extra members that they should not have to, if it can do something to keep Only Iced Coffee from view botting or whatever they do to enhance your members, I'm all for that. I'm all for the ways that are going to keep you and make it harder for you to exploit your audience. So I hope that continues.
You know? Again, what these idiots don't realize, right? They like the content so much that I make because they want to make fun of it, right? Great, so make fun of it. But when you hurt my livelihood doing this shit, now you have basically made it harder for me to keep doing this. If you think that the Throwback channel's funny and the React channel's funny and the stuff I do on this channel is a comedy, riot, why are you hindering my ability to make the content?
I don't see how making the content and grifting memberships are one and the same. Making the content for you should be the gameplay streams, right? Like, put out good content and your viewers will support you. That's what you're always saying, so this really shouldn't affect anything.
What you're doing is counterproductive. It makes no fucking sense. It just proves you're an idiot, right? So it sucks, but what can you do? I wish I could fix it. I can't. Why am I bringing it up? Because this is real life shit that's affecting this stream and everything I do on YouTube. This is not some dumb troll behind the scenes and I can ignore it. This is something that's directly affecting everything publicly, and it sucks.
Then maybe it's time to stop putting so much pressure on your audience for members that you don't have.
Okay? So, please consider. What's funny is Zen Shuriken says, of course he's worried. That's thousands of dollars a year. Zen Shuriken, that's thousands of dollars a month.
You are way, way, way overpaid. Phil, the things you say, you have no idea how they make you look. Like, not to detractors, but to just a normal audience watching you. You just have no idea how this comes across.
A month. That's what I mean. I just said I'm down 37%. That's thousands of dollars that I need to pay my bills that I'm not making now because of this idiot.
I just want to say, in my opinion, I think the appropriate response here would have been to pretty much say nothing. What you need to do is you need to manage your business behind the scenes, Phil. You're always talking about that. You need to budget and plan around events like this. And what I would also recommend is if you make real changes on your behavior, you may not experience these type of things, but you're incapable of making real change that people can see. And until you do that, none of this is going to stop.
Okay? So, again, thank you to anyone who likes the content and supports it in any way. Please consider it. All right? And then you get an idiot like this guy, Stimpy. That's your problem, not ours. Wrong. You're the one here watching the content. I won't be here making content anymore if this continues, you dumb idiot.
I don't believe that. You have no marketable skills. You've made no effort to train yourself, educate yourself, or improve your work experience in between streaming. I don't believe for a moment that you're going to let this go. You will ride this into the ground until it can go no further. And after that point, I have no idea what would happen.
That's the point I'm making. I'm not some rich YouTuber rolling in money that I can take this hit. You fucking idiotic, brain dead moron leaving a dumb comment in a chat and acting like you know what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, yes, Phil. Keep insulting the audience that you need to support you. I'm sure that will work just fine.
All right? I'm a normal guy like you. When I lose thousands of dollars in a month, it fucks me up.
Stop spending so much fucking money on WWE champions, Phil.
All right? So that's why I can't have this happen. I need people to hopefully do something to help me in this case. You know, this next week, all these new games coming out, please support these streams.
Literally begs and grifts just without even hesitation, and I would say that this is absolutely exploiting his audience. He's inspiring panic and fear in them to say like, hey, things are gonna be bad. I may not be here if you don't support me. This is like a callback to a lot of old shit he used to say. But I just wanted to point that out that he is so fear grifting his audience right now, and it is awful.
Okay. How much is 37%? It's about a third, roughly. A third of my income is gone away this month compared to the last several months. A third of my income is gone because of this trolling nonsense. Yeah. Like I said, like no one is becoming a member. That's the problem. It's like normally every day I get memberships. Every day I got new members and I get people who gift memberships to the community. Now, no one is re-upping their memberships and no one is gifting legit memberships. It's very small. There's a few people who are doing it, and thank you to those who are, but it's gone away, and that's revenue I rely on.
So the revenue went away, not the gifted memberships. The community still got the gifted memberships, but they weren't the ones that you wanted them to get. So it was never about the community becoming members, it was about the money.
All right. So that's it. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't, it sickens me to have to fucking waste time talking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, so let's just move on positively. All right. Let's get out of this topic and hopefully just kind of relax and have some conversation today and not have to worry about this so much.
Okay, I think on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and tap out too, and I want to say thank you again, a big shout out to Duty for the upload, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I'll try to upload another one here soon. Peace out.